It's late in the morning on Wednesday, December 27th, 2023, where in just a few minutes I'll be on my way to Newark Broad Street Station to catch a train going into New York City. Once there, I will be filming all the locations in New York City where Home Alone 2 was filmed. The only things you won't see are A, the facade for Duncan's Toy Chest, which is the Rookery building in Chicago, and B, the facade for Uncle Rob's brownstone at 51 West 95th Street. Now, while that address is a real address, the actual facade, I believe, was on the Universal Studios Hollywood backlot on a street called Brownstone either Way or Brownstone Place or something like that. Anyway, got a few minutes before the train arrives. So why don't I take this time to talk about the Newark Light Rail? It's essentially an expansion of the old Newark City subway, which was essentially a streetcar trunk line from which several routes branched off. Those routes are long since closed, but the city subway is now the Grove Street line. And this is the Newark Broad Street Station line. Excuse me. Which branches off at one point, but then the two halves come back together just before Broad Street. Just beyond there'll be a tunnel portal from the old city subway, and that's where our light rail vehicle will be emerging from. This station, the one I'm at now, is called New Jersey Performing Arts Center at Center Street, and is the first station on the Broad Street line after exiting the tunnel portal. And here comes our train now, a Kingi Chariot-built LRV, the same ones they use on the Hudson-Bergen light rail. Let's get on.
This is the train to Broad Street Station. You must have a valid ticket to ride this train. Present your valid ticket upon request. Next stop, Atlantic Street.
Up to Broad Street here. And actually, why don't I go back one seat? Get a better view of this. Yeah, that's better. long at all. There goes a train heading into either New York Penn or to Hoboken. Coaches you see on that train are Bombardier multi-levels. And as you might expect, there's an ALP-46 shoving into town. And over there you see the Penn Station bound track. It's about to rejoin the main line. And somewhere out of frame here will be Broad Street Station. In fact, it's coming to view now. See, this station primarily serves Morris and Essex trains, but I think some Montclair, Boonton, and Gladstone trains stop here as well. Lovely building, this. Closed waiting hall, having gotten my ticket to Hoboken. It's a very nice waiting hall and very convenient for both summer and winter months. You can tell this is an older building by the radiators here. It's how you used to heat the inside of buildings. And here now at 11:24 a.m. is Montclair Boonton Line train number 6226 en route to New York Penn Station. I, however, am headed for Hoboken. We can check that station out a little bit. And as you can see, we have this long string of Bombardier multi-level coaches. They have the exact same kind of coach on the MARC train down in D.C. In fact, MARC, I believe, exercised that option when New Jersey Transit didn't. And LED sign up on the top there. Typical. the high platform only door here, in addition to a regular door here, which can be used with either high or low platforms. This additional door speeds up boarding at high platforms.
The 11:19 a.m. eastbound train to Hoboken, stopping at Hoboken. Please stand back from the yellow line. Please watch the gap between the train and the platform when boarding.
Anyway, just wanted to capture the lattice work here at platform level. This used to be a low platform station. They only raised the platform heights in the last couple of decades or so. Well, while this train is stopped here, why don't I go show you some more of the station? Some more of the Newark, New Jersey skyline over there. Looks like this train came down from Montclair State University, because I see an ALP-46 shoving into town. If it were coming all the way from Netcong, it would have had an ALP-45DP. Over here we got a little placard detailing some of the history of this place. And looks like that's our Hoboken train right behind, made up of Arrow III EMUs. Wish this train right now would get underway. Here's my train, the Hoboken train. Gladstone number 418, made up of Arrow III EMUs. Going through the center door for high-level platforms. These cars were around when I was a kid. And even before I was born. But since the Penn Station train ahead of us seems to be held up, they just had this train come in right behind it. I guess that's one of the advantages of having a long platform here. Now we're finally underway after the Montclair-Boonton train in front of us had cleared off of the platform. We had to stop a second time to let further passengers on board. But at least we're underway. Now there is one station between here and Hoboken, and that's Secaucus Junction. But this train apparently is not stopping in Secaucus. Once upon a time, all Morris and Essex trains, as well as Montclair Branch and Boonton Line trains, they all went to Hoboken back in the day. Then the Midtown Direct connection happened in the late 1990s. Which allowed direct access for those lines to Penn Station. A few years later, in the early 2000s, the Montclair Branch and Boonton lines were combined into one service. This would lead to the abandonment of the old Boonton line alignment. Past Rose Street, Benson Street, Arlington. I forget all the stations that were abandoned as a result of the realignment to the Montclair branch. Anyway, just beyond these bushes here, you can see the path yard and the Northeast Corridor tracks right in front of it. And if you couldn't already tell, it is a foggy day, so you can't see the New York City skyline. In fact, when I was landing last night at LaGuardia, I wasn't sure whether or not we were going to land in the drink, that is Long Island Sound. Itself began as the Hudson and Manhattan, which was a subsidiary of the Pennsylvania Railroad. It became the path in the late 60s, early 70s, when it was common for mainline railroads to ditch their passenger services. Eventually, they were able to divest from commuter services in the early 80s, which led to the formation of agencies like New Jersey Transit, MTA Metro North, and the MARC, and led to takeovers in other cities, in Boston, courtesy of the MBTA, and in Philadelphia, courtesy of SEPTA. Now we're going through a New Jersey Transit yard where we see even more Arrow III EMUs, along with some Comet and Bombardier cars, and even some 42 and ALP 45 locomotives. See, that's how you tell the difference between a 45 and a 46. A 45 has its pantographs ensconced in some kind of trench. And just now there was a GP 39 or 40. Anyway, we're on the approach to Secaucus here, I think. No, this is not Secaucus. This is just a quick stop. Yep, Rail Operations Center is basically where they effect on the fly crew changes. Nowadays, the only lines that still have to go into Hoboken are the Pascat Valley, Main Line, and Bergen County line. The Main Line is an old Erie Railroad alignment that rejoins the Bergen County line just shy of the New York State line. There, the Bergen County line becomes the Port Jervis line, and the Pascat Valley line, I believe, retains its name, even as it becomes a Metro North line west of the Hudson. And now that I think about it, I think I had the Bergen County and Main lines switched. And it's the Bergen County line that diverges, but rejoins the Main. Going through a very industrial part of town here. All kinds of bridges over the Hackensack River. One of those, of course, being the Northeast Corridor tracks.
She was also in college.
That should be Jersey City over there. I mean, we are approaching the Meadowlands and Secaucus and all that. Hoboken Station. I want to capture that really quickly before going into the path where you're not allowed to film. Apparently the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey don't like you filming in their facilities. So I'll have to put the camera away on the final leg to World Trade Center. Now that I think about it, again, I don't think Secaucus is on this particular line. excitement. We're currently in a tunnel going under, I want to say, Union City. Which serves Hoboken, among other places. And there's a Hudson-Bergen light rail train right now. Same basic design, but notice that the rear car is somewhat longer than the front car. Check it out. Over there, there's a train on another line with a PLC-42. I believe that's what New Jersey Transit calls themselves, these PLC-42s. Pulling into a different track at Hoboken. There's one of the older GP-40s, I want to say. And it looks like they're deadheading. Got no coaches on them. This must mean that we're about to pull into Hoboken. There's an older baggage car. Most likely being used as an office. And even more Arrow III EMUs, many of which are restricted to Morris and Essex service, as I believe they are only capable of running on 25 kilohertz tracks. They'll have some indication of this restriction. pretty much come to an end. So I come on the train here at Hoboken, and what should I see but the Central of New Jersey Railroad Heritage Unit. Just a GP 38, GP 40, but it's made up in Central of New Jersey, number 4109. Just one of the many railroads that make up what is today New Jersey Transit's commuter operations. Hoboken Station itself is a former Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western terminal. Check out these tops here, where they meet with the roof. They really knew how to make train stations back then. Anyway, that CNJ Heritage Unit is connected to a string of Comet 5 coaches. The cab being marked with the MTA Metro North Railroad logo. Over there, that's the Hudson-Bergen platforms. Here's the waiting hall of Hoboken Station. Like the Christmas tree and wreaths up there. Just want to get this really quickly. Got some ticket stands there. There's the men's room. Women's room is over there by the ferry entrance. Before heading into New York, I want to also just quickly catch some of the exterior of the station. Yep, see that? Lackawanna Railroad. Here we can get a better angle on some of the features of the exterior. There's even a plaque out here. Dedicating the clock tower. I think this was a restoration work of some sort. Anyway, I can't film inside the path, like I said, because the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey do not like you filming in their facilities. And it's for this reason Go-Go Supertoe likes to call them panty nudge. Anyway, I'll see you on the other side of the river. Before I start filming any locations where Home Alone 2 was filmed, I thought I'd point out this building right here, 200 West Street. This is the headquarters of Goldman Sachs, the company I currently work for. So to start the tour proper, Here's where one of the original Twin Towers stood. It was here that Kevin would eventually go to the very top of, I want to say, the South Tower. Now, however, the former foundations are a memorial to those who lost their lives in 9/11. That happened nearly 9 years after Home Alone was originally released. Actually, no, it was nearly 11 years after the original Home Alone and 9 years after Home Alone 2. But yeah, it's important to never forget what happened that day. As I head toward Battery Park near South Ferry Station, I thought I'd take in World Trade Center Cortlandt Station. This is a much different station than from what I experienced 23 years ago, as 9/11 had happened in the interim the very next year after my initial visit. But note how they incorporate the oculus nearby into the design of the station. And now we have an Uptown 1 train made up of all R62 cars on the opposite platform. Let's see this train out. Meanwhile, there's a South Ferry bound 1 train. Before going up to Battery Park, I thought I'd show you the new South Ferry Station. This station was built to replace the old loop station, which only allowed half the train to disembark. However, for a few years in the 2010s, it had to be closed due to flooding from Superstorm Sandy. But it reopened in 2017 and has been the South Ferry Station for the 1 train ever since. Now I'm at Battery Park, at nearly the location where Kevin would have looked through the binoculars at the Statue of Liberty. However, the binoculars are long gone and the waterfront's fenced off. Still, though, it's a nice little park here. And yes, you can hear the sounds of the boats in the harbor. Continuing through Battery Park, got some lovely statues and stuff here. All right. Just need to take a minute to get my bearings here. I want to make sure I'm on course to get to Bowling Green. Just past the East Coast Memorial. Now going through Bosque Gardens and the fountain. Need to get past Castle Clinton and the Battery Oval, and that will be Bowling Green Station. Let's keep going. That's gotta be the aforementioned... No, that's the fountain over there. It's just not running right now. That's gotta be Castle Clinton up ahead. And what that is, I have no idea. That'll be the immigrant monument. And here I am, kind of tripping over my words. Before I get on the train to go up to Fulton Street, see this section of the Bowling Green Station platform over there? That used to be the old shuttle platform. It was a shuttle service that ran from here to the Inner Loop station. At South Ferry. It was discontinued in the 70s due to low ridership and because it was so redundant. And it would appear I'm on the wrong platform. Gotta go under and over to the other side. Next location, South Street Seaport. Over there is South Street Seaport. Above you got FDR Drive. And over here is the former site of the Fulton Fish Market. And it would have been here that we first saw Marvin Harry, who had recently busted out of the clink. Recently being just before the events of Home Alone 2. Now it is a marketplace of sorts. A couple of shops and restaurants and a movie theater. Or is it like a theater as in a stage? I'm not 100% sure. The Fulton Fish Market is now somewhere in the Bronx. Anyway, I'm going to stop for some lunch before continuing my so-called tour. See you in a bit. So now that I've made my brief stop for lunch, I'm here at 32 Mott Street, which is the place where Kevin bought his fireworks that he would use later in Central Park, as a means to mark where Marvin Harry would be. The store itself is long closed, but This tour wouldn't have been complete without it. And here is the Empire Diner, where in Home Alone 2, Kevin met a Santa Claus on stilts and got some kind of leaflet from him. Still standing after all these years. Then again, the Empire Diner is one of the more famous diners here in New York. So here we are in Times Square. This is the same Times Square that the ball drops every New Year's Eve into New Year's Day. This is also the place where Kate McAllister, Kevin's mom, was talking to that police officer and eventually told him she needed to go to Rockefeller Center. And it is as chaotic as one could imagine. I was kind of hoping this tree would still be up. I'm here at Rockefeller Center, where in Home Alone 2, Kevin and his mom, Kate, reunited. If you'll remember, Kate remembered that Kevin was obsessed with Christmas trees. So, as I mentioned back at Times Square, she told the officer this, and he took her here.
You sure you have the people here?
No tour of Home Alone 2 filming locations here in New York City would be complete without the Plaza Hotel. What Bob Eubanks described as New York's most exciting hotel experience in that made-up game show Celebrity Ding Dang Dong. The new Celebrity Ding Dang Dong, I should say. What this hotel is really known for is that certain rooms overlook Central Park. But if you couldn't tell already, it's already dark, so I don't think I should take in the park. It'll have to wait until another trip. As will the facade for the Children's Hospital, which is the Horace Mann building on the campus of Columbia University. But what I can do is make my way to Carnegie Hall. You know the old joke about how you get to Carnegie Hall? Well, in Home Alone 2, neither the pigeon lady nor Kevin had to practice. It was up in an attic, just above one of the concert halls, where Kevin and the pigeon lady talked about this, that, and every other thing. You know, about the miracle of Christmas and so forth. This bus would get out of the way. Yeah, that's better. In fact, I should probably zoom out a bit. Yeah, that's better. Not long afterwards, Kevin bid the pigeon lady farewell and began to set his trap for the sticky bandits. And I wish I could go on further, but like I said, it's after sunset. So I'm gonna have to end it here and cover Central Park and the Horace Mann building next time I come here.